This is your weekend market review for Friday, July 26, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your weekend market review for Friday, July 26th, 2024. Amazing week of trading. Repeating patterns, probabilities, all the things we teach and talk about in the Discord room or in the live chats or any of the content that we talk about. Man, it's such a good feeling to just be able to trade around positions, manage risk, take profits, get paid, pay yourself, and just hang out on a Friday. As we recommended, Friday's probably going to be a hangout day. We know going into next week, you've got a ton of earnings. Thanks, BAMP, for dropping that. You got Apple and Amazon after the close on Thursday. Next week, you've got the FOMC meeting next week on Wednesday. Is the market going to absolutely melt down before then? My guess is absolutely not, unless there's a runoff catalyst, which, again, you can't predict that. But in my opinion, near-term oversold. Let the chop happen. We talked about bouncing at some point. Again, if you had to layer into some trades yesterday, traded around them, and then waited today, it's a game that you get comfortable with. You don't chase. You let things come to you, and it gets easy. Gets easier as time goes on. So I appreciate all the love, generous donations. Some of you guys, I appreciate it. Like dropping the donations. Again, links are in the description below. Means a lot to me because again, I think I'm trying to, I'm not helping you hit the enter button. I'm helping you give the confidence to trade around positions, manage it, and manage emotions because that's 99% of this shit. I'm telling you right now, trading isn't hard. We talk about, Eric's here, trading's not hard. It's executed. It's what's between your head that's the problem. It's the overthinking. It's the fear of missing out. It's all the other emotional crap that you bring to trading. So if you want to join the Discord room, links in the description below. Again, follow on the Twitter. Posting a ton of stuff. And oops. Do me a favor. If you want to connect, again, I tell this, leave a comment below or hit me up if you want the Calendly link. Let's connect. Let me know how I can help you, whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate. Again, that's where I could, one of the things I can help you with, but also is having a plan, getting another agent. We talked about if you're familiar with the channel, but also what are you struggling with the trading? What are you struggling with? How can I help you? How can I put you in a position mentally? What can I give you resource-wise that'll maybe help? Because I do have a few videos, as some of y'all know, I have 52 educational videos, but also know other other YouTube people that I follow that have been great psychology based. And there's a lot of resources out there. So let me know how I can help. And also subscribe for the real estate, for more updates. I'm going to be at some point doing the weekend update newsletter. Sign up for it. Let me know. Again, just fill out this stuff. A lot of people potentially haven't yet. And so I'm trying to roll this out and get this going. So, all right. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, pause. All right, back to it. We know next week there's nothing expected. Now, again, when you hear the rumors, the chatter, the bullshit, do not be surprised. It's nothing, y'all. The odds are 4.7. It's not happening. September now. This is where it gets a little interesting. We're getting a 25 cut based on this number. And then we might get a 50 basis point. I'm telling you, if they cut 50 basis points coming up, it tells you how bad the economy is. I've been trying to warn you guys. Again, the market can detach from the economy. Like we talk about that. They don't always have to move together. In my opinion, there's all risk, no reward at this point in the market. Now you wait for some pops. I'm talking about like longer term. Near term, there's probably some upside, but we'll talk about that. But in general, Bitcoin, as we talked about, trading a range. I'm not playing that stuff. And really, again, you can trade around it, but I wouldn't be investing in it long term until the Fed's pivot. Oil, interesting action day. Drop, rally back. As I've said, I don't think you're getting negative future prices if market does correct. I think what you'll see in reality is a higher floor because I think the U.S. government will be reloading the SPR. Bunch of silly goofballs. UNG, natural gas, as I've warned folks, you were due for a dead cat bounce. Some people are really excited about that baby bounce. 207, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Just keep an eye on it. Again, long term, let this come down. Not pray, but just anticipate, smash. And when, again, we talked about this forced liquidation, the forced selling, you get so comfortable with it, it's coming. Just like when you look for tops, you look for you just extravagant upside moves of, grandeur where everyone's like all in, nothing can go wrong, everything's perfect. You want to look for that on the downside when people start puking. As Buffett says, when the tide goes out, who's naked. But also this, what do you see now? Well, you know, when there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. And when everyone's cheerleading, be nervous. That's what he talks about, guys. All right, dollar, best turd in the toilet floating up. TLT talked about this. Said, felt like a trap, right? Felt like a trap. Sorry, I'm getting the text. Gaps up Thursday, gaps up again. I'm liking it again. I don't give a crap about the intraday action. I like that it's just starting to build up. Because in my opinion, this is the safest place to go when money rotates out of tech for the first part. Watch this trade again. It's a very binary, easy trade. Okay? Let it hold or fold. Right? And fold meaning, all right, define your risk. And if you're playing the UBT, we talked about this, you know, like 19, 18 area. I don't know where you want to nail it, but it's like, man, don't let it get below certain prices. Stop out. You can always rebuy. The VIX, are you surprised? Nice pop, pulls back. We talked about the doji yesterday, going into the Fed meeting. I mean, let's be real here. Like, let's anticipate the 200-day to the 13, 14 area. If the market starts kind of getting a little more comfortable and they talk about the rumors of, you know, cutting rates, don't be surprised we come right back to 13. VIX, we talked about this blowing out after the lows. I'm not surprised if it does a little backtracking. SPY, again, this is where it's like, all right, let the shorts come. You have a 2-day range. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if you retest this level, maybe in the 20-day. Again, as we've talked about, if you're familiar with this channel, when a trend changes, the 20-day now becomes resistance. It's going to start curving over in the next few days. Keep an eye at 550 plus. And again, there's where you need to really draw the line in the sand. We talked about the Q. Dead cat bouncing, due for it, right? Maybe the 50-day, I don't know. Maybe all these moving averages converge somewhere in the 475 range. Also, too, what if we get smoked on one of these days again? What if there's some bad news? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is where, again, if it goes higher, let it pop. Right? Let it come out. Let it just pop if it needs to. And if it drops, again, you've got position. That's why you're not all or nothing traders. Remember, your position size and you're managing your trades. IWM, watching up here. I've said this in the Discord room. It's holding up pretty well. Do not be surprised if they trap folks. And the best trap is what? It's like a double top with a lower low or a lower high. Let me see if we can find it. Here you go. Well, I guess that's not really well, if you consider this one. Here's like a fake breakout, right? A fake breakout. You see this a lot. It's a reoccurring formation. Here you go, a fake breakdown and rally, right? Fake breakdown and rally. That's what I'm looking for on the IWM. Any questions, concerns, leave a comment below. Shouldn't be that hard. Let it come to you. Dia high, Dia low. Because again, I thought it might pull back, but it really didn't. So good. Funds are flowing into it. Let it play out. Dia holding the 20-day. Nothing much to say there. Gold, the July seasonality is over, in my opinion. Now we're going to get stuck in the doldrums watching 210 level. I mean, there's a lot of potentialities with gold and silver and the miners. Meaning, let them come to you. Like Jim Rome would say. And he'd talk like, hey, guys. And I'm not talking about the football or the sports analyst. Let it come to you. Look at all these gaps. Silver's not confirming it. I can't trust it. Miners, looked like they were leading up. And then they gave it back. Again, worth an eye on. GDX looked like it was leading. Gives it all back. Right? AEM has earnings. I thought it was last week, but maybe there wasn't that much there. Maybe there just wasn't that much there. I apologize. Again, I'm like scrambling looking at notes. Nope, don't see it. Speaking of earnings, man, there's a lot. Again, check out that chart. If you need help, just ding-a-ling, ring-a-ding, hit me up. AG, someone's talking about people talking about buying this. I'm like, oh. Again, I mean, I like miners long run. I think if you disappeared for a year and didn't check your accounts, I think you'll be fine. But if you weren't surprised by a 40, 30, 40, 50, 60, who knows what pullback on these names, just disappear. Again, but I'd rather wait. Let these things come in. Newmont again. This should be in the 70s. It's not. Pass on it. 50-day breaks. Simple, stupid. Taiwan Semi. Again, we talked about these names being short-term oversold, hitting some range. Again, this is why we draw the levels. Now, don't break a freaking ruler. Looks like it held the 160. The 154. Okay, Micron. Again, this is why we draw the levels. Looked like it would hold the gap. So far, so good. AM Dizzle. What up, AMD? Here you go. Into a support zone. Would it bounce here? Does it make sense? I suspect so. NVIDIA's, right? Near term. Again, it gets pretty oversold. Now, again, I don't really have a level here, but there is a gap that filled. I apologize. I don't know why I didn't draw it, but it's like I can see it. I seen it. There is a gap, and it filled. So now what? I don't know. Let me chop around. I mean, here you go. Let's pull these over. I don't know. Let's pull it over somewhere. 20-day. I don't know. Again, if it bounces, it bounces. In my opinion, I mean, they can't sell fast enough. The CEO's just unloading. He's like, how fast can I sell? He's like, he's not even scared to sell during buyout, blackout. He doesn't. He clearly doesn't give a shit. He just wants out. SMCI, we talked about bouncing from here. Intellectual property, I'm looking at the 30 area if it was going to bounce. I don't want to play these references above it, but maybe it does bounce, but I won't trust it. SMH, as we talked about, broke, double top, trap, makes a new high, gives it up. I mean, it's toast, but it doesn't mean it can't bounce. Does this make sense? This makes sense. Like, it can bounce. Again, anybody who just thinks straight line moves every day we head south. Every day we head up. No, stop it. You just stop it, silly. Again, now the 20 days curling down, the 50 will be curling soon. Good old Adobe. This is one I really want to short, but I can't do it unless there's a reference. Didn't get my retest of the 570s plus, but again, keeping an eye on it. Apple to fruit. No love. Fruit earnings next Thursday. Good at head and shoulders, top, and then bounce around. I don't know. It's one of those things where, again, if you shorted, congrats to highs, manage your positions. You know what to do. If you have questions, holler. Another Amazon has earnings next Thursday too. I mean, next Thursday afternoon after the close. Whew, bomb diggity. Below the 100-day, below the channel, a lot of funkiness going on. Just keep an eye on it. Meta, talked about, needs to hold these areas. Look at this. Look at, makes a low, gives it, comes right back. Near term, I apologize. It should be right here. And that 50% fib. 490s, 495. I think even J Solstice. Again, I'll give credit to people if they DM me and go, hey, I think this level. I'm always like, yeah, I will absolutely give you credit. I love when you reach out. Tell me what you see. I don't mind it. Again, I'm not going to sit here and just refute like I know everything. I'm not freaking Jim Cramer. Not the anti-intelligence. I don't know. I'm just going to draw this like this. Watching CRM. Again, if it hits 100-day, get excited. Guggenheim got smoked. Right, Doji at the 100-day, probably due to a little bouncy bounce. I mean, all these names. Again, if they don't, it says a lot. Microsoft, below the 100-day, little inside double. Again, you have a 2-day range. This is what makes it easy. Short against, go with. NDAQ, look at this gap up. I have a 60. I'm like, oh, come on. I know this is a novice gap. Like, I have zero doubt. Like, this is the novice gap top. It's just, do we need to get up a little higher? Keep an eye on it. MicroStrategy, again, it's going into a split. A lot of bullish like potentiality. Bitcoin held up. All right, well, it's going to hold. Again, I personally just tend to be careful. Roll up your stops. I mean, it's mid 1,200 to 1,800 again. That's a really solid freaking move. 50% move in 2 or 3 weeks. Let it consolidate. Netflix, watching the 100-day. Could it spill? Roblox, here you go. Chopping around. Again, they have earnings next week. I mean, their last earnings was right? August 8th. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Pan W. Again, I hate earnings because, again, it's a crapshoot. I've seen bad news go up, good news go down. I've seen everything that doesn't make sense happen. And so, you know what I say for earnings? Hedge. If you got positions. Pan W, again, we like this long term. Tesla. Look at this. I imagine everyone who bought calls and puts on this down move was like, hell yeah, this thing's moving. And guess what the market makers did? They said, no, you get nothing and like it. Chop around. Insight, as I've talked about, again, put this in your portfolio, let it disappear. It is coming into a downtrend. At some point, it does have earnings on Tuesday morning. Looking for dips. If it doesn't dips, we dip. Hopefully it does. And then if not, might rip. McDonald's, earnings Monday after the close. This one's tough. I mean, who knows where it's going next. DKNG, earnings Thursday with Apple and Amazon. Checking this out, just watching the range lows. I mean, again, these are what's so hard. Sometimes you have to admit to yourself, I don't know. I don't have to trade. Right? Airbnb gaps down, chopping around, worth a watch. See what happens there. Costco. This has been the leader up, one of the leaders, right? Now it's starting to get a little tired. Had a div today. I mean, here all these things curling down. If you see 840, 850, I might pop a short there. Pop a squat. Starbucks, we talked about, this is a dead stock. Dead cat bounce after a capitulation earnings. Bounces back. chopping back. I mean, we know it's going to have earnings sometime soon. It's not going anywhere probably till earnings. Sorry, bulls and bears. Federal Express, unless the market gets murdered, holding up. Again, UPS got slapped. It feels, and I said this the other day, it feels like it's building like a head and shoulders, right? Like, this is like the shoulder line. I'd be watching 303, but it could be there for a while. I mean, this thing can be choppy and sloppy. Look at this son of a bitch. Good. Caterpillar earnings. When are their earnings? Did I miss that? It's got to be soon. Trading in a range. Not much to say here. Nucor dropped on earnings, rallying back. I mean, again, just holding it with the market. I really don't have much to say about material names. Again, let them come in. Letter X holding up. We like 36. Again, I feel like X is going to hold up better if the Dems are leading potentially. And everyone's now saying Kamala is leading. I believe the polls have zero validity to that. Zero. But again, the idea that we would sell out to foreigners, man, stocks like that, they know we'll do that with the Dems in control. Arrow again, copper chopping around. CCJ has earnings on Tuesday AM. Again, I hate when Goldman upgrades the highs. I don't have much to say about this. Ag names, we talked about these. Oversold, bouncing. This one bouncing pretty strong. It's interesting to see Mosaic and NTR lagging. I apologize if that's fast, but they're lagging. Don't really have much to say. Aaron, here we go, chopping around. This thing's been pretty beaten. I mean, I think if you wanted to trade it, you have a reference at 32, right? You see it, simple. XLF, again, added some shorts yesterday and then said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to wait a little bit. Could we bull trap up here? Fudge. I hope not, but it's always possible going into the Fed meeting. Again, trade at your own risk, define your risk. Oops, JP Morgan holding the 20-day. Again, I don't know why anyone would want to buy it. If Jamie Dimon doesn't want to buy his own stock, why would you? Morgan Stanley, interesting candle today. Bank of America chopping around 20-day. I mean, these things look like they top potentially. Goldman, look at today, right? Another retest of the range, and then a wicker basket, right? Just kind of worth watching that 504 plus area. Carry, we talked about, holding up well. Now we're into some areas where, again, like maybe the IWM, I mean, I don't know where the exact high is going to be. I mean, people have been chasing junior banks like it's nothing, right? Don't step in front of this just yet. I mean, it looks like well, see, here's what I'd argue. You could start a position, but don't go all in. All right. It looks like the right thing to do is to like short the exuberance. XBI chopping up at the range highs. Again, here's speaking of exuberance, like look at the XHB, right? You got to be kidding me. Look at that wick today closing at the end. Again, being patient. Glad I didn't do anything on a Friday. Maybe these are the tops. Who knows? Some of these names. Who knows? Solars we talked about being oversold, due for a bounce. Sedge, talked about this thing being a turd. ENPH talked about this popping on terrible earnings. Okay, well then just let it come back into the range highs. I mean, this is what's so hard about earnings. I don't know the reaction. We knew the numbers would be crap. First Solar, again, speaking of just letting things bounce, I mean, near term, 240s makes sense if it does get there. HYG, again, you got to be high to your mind buying corporate debt, in my opinion. I don't have much to say. Oil, here we go, chopping around. UNG, again, I hate this product. Absolutely hate this product. If you want to play natural gas, in my opinion, it's going to be shorting KOLD at some point. I mean, I think you can start a position here, but I have more eyes on the 80s. Hope that helps. XOP, again, I think if Trump is leading, oil and gas have upside, but they're chopping around near term. Again, we'll see what happens. Because, again, the market could pull down everything. CVE, we like this, again, chopping around. I'm just going to show you. I mean, some of these names are just consolidating, either at highs or chopping in big ranges. Exxon looks primed like it could pump. We'll see. We'll see. Valero, these things hit some oversold conditions, hit the 200-day bounce. MPC has been lagging again. They have more European foreign exposure. No wonder it's bouncing a little less. Worth watching. Occidental, this is a huge trading range, right? Just be careful. EQT, same thing. Like this one popped on earnings, gave it right back. Again, we like these stocks long term. And last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, we like these, but just let them play out. Let them play out. So, all right, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. You know who I am. I'm your friend. Going to help you out. Do the best I can. Let me know what you need. Holler at your boy. Have an amazing weekend. Talk to you soon.